Coach Brant, Sherwood here just after practice on Wednesday. You guys found out your opponent last night as the Watertown Wolves took care of the Motor City Rockers. Your thoughts on going against Watertown in the first round for the third straight year?
We just got to limit odd man rushes. They tend to fly the zone pretty early, especially looking at Lord's line last night with Leeson and Thornton. They tend to leave the zone, so we got to make sure we have a count in the O zone and making sure guys aren't slipping behind us. But I thought they played pretty well. They had a good cycle going on in the O zone. I think we have to look out for Harris as well. He does a lot of jumping up in the play and stuff, so we're gonna have to be aware when our wingers are on that side. But I really don't think it mattered if we played Motor City or Watertown. We just got to focus on us and stick to our good habits and make sure we get the job done.
But nice to not have to take the travel all the way to, that would be your Thursday, basically, going out to Michigan. So good you're going up to Watertown. But it's a unique rink, and they can get up early up in their rink. So talk a little bit about how you're preparing these guys for Friday night.
So with their the dimensions in their rink and stuff, you can't do a lot of glassing out, stuff like that. So you have to come up through the middle or hammer it up. I call it off the boards, not the yellow rim, but you get it up a little and make sure pucks are fumbling when we're getting it outside our D blue line. But small neutral zone, 2-on-1s can happen pretty quickly if you get caught sleeping. But other than that, we have some guys that they like these smaller rinks and they excel in these smaller rinks. It's just a matter of having a good net front presence in the O zone and creating traffic and getting shots through from the point.
How difficult is it to plan who's going to be on the roster? You have a lot of great college rookies that could make any squad in this league. So talk a little bit about the difficulties of your choices that will have to be made to get guys into games.
It sucks, man. I wish I could play everyone, and I think everyone's deserving to play, but you only have so many spots in the lineup. So we'll be having 5 guys sit out on Friday night, but they're a huge part of the journey, and they could be going on Saturday as well. So everyone's got to be ready to go and all hands on deck. It just, it breaks my heart when I have to tell a guy, he's not playing in the first playoff game, because all these guys desperately want it and they want to be out there. But at the same time, there is that understanding that, I think they know with me that I'm going to put the best lineup possible out there. And it's been keeping me up at night. It sucks, and I know some of these guys, it's keeping them up at night as well, wondering if they're going to be in the lineup or not.
Coach, thank you. Good luck this weekend against the Wolves.
Thanks so much.
And I'm here with Austin Thompson. Tom, a great season for you this year. What are your thoughts on your overall season so far?
Yeah, obviously individually it's been a good season for me. Obviously better than the last 2 years, and it's just nice finding the back of the net more like I should have last couple of years. And honestly, it has to do with my teammates. Kirk's giving me the puck a lot in front of the net. Ollie giving me the puck, and Stubbs now too. And obviously, if the team isn't as good as we are now, then I probably wouldn't have the points I have right now.
Obviously, last night, the Watertown Wolves took care of business. You guys do not have to go to Michigan. I'm sure everyone is happy about that. Your thoughts on going against Watertown in the first round of the playoffs for the third straight year?
Yeah, everyone's happy about that. I would have loved the home game in Motor City to see all the family, but, I'll take the shorter bus ride. Well, we know what to expect from them. Obviously, the guys are excited for a shorter trip. We don't have to go up Thursday. We know the way Watertown plays. They're all offense, and like you said, 3 years in a row now, we're playing them again in the first round.
Is there any difference in the preparation this week going into the mindset of playing against Watertown?
Yeah, obviously you focus more because it's playoffs and every game means more than it did in the regular season. But other than that, we just take it day by day like we have been all season, and we've been preparing for playoffs. So
no matter who's in net for you guys seem to have all the confidence in the world. Going into the playoffs, Connor seems to even be better than he was last year, if that's even reality. Talk a little bit about your guys' confidence about all 3 of your netminders going into the playoffs.
They're all solid. They've all stolen games for us this year, and last year with C-Mac and Eggy, same thing has happened. And obviously bringing CJ in, he's another solid kid. And it doesn't matter who's in the lineup here at any position. The guys, we just get it done.
This is a presentation of BSRN, Box Studios Radio Network. The Power Play Post Show is on the air, covering minor league hockey since 2003, and now covering the Binghamton Black Bears with news, reactions, and in-depth interviews only heard here. And now from the Box Studios in Kirkwood, New York, here is your host of the Power Play Post Show, Bob Howard.
And hello, everybody. Welcome to another edition of the Power Play Post Show. This is the show for April 17th, 2025. This is season 14, episode number 59, and episode number 498 in the long-running podcast that is the Power Play Post Show. Hello, everyone. Thank you very much for joining me. Again, I am Bob Howard. Thank you very much for joining me here today to talk a little bit about the FPHL. And, of course, the Binghamton Black Bears heading into their first round matchup against the Watertown Wolves. I'm sure everybody is excited for these games to start on Friday. But, of course, the Black Bears have to practice, and they have to get ready for their first round opponent, which, of course, is Watertown. And, of course, you just heard from Brant Sherwood and from Austin Thompson. I spoke to both of them earlier today here on Wednesday about the just getting ready for the Watertown Wolves, and a little bit about Austin's season so far, which has been so very good. So, again, thank you very much for joining me. I was at practice. I recorded with Brooks Hill, as you know, will be on the show as well in just a little bit. And we talked about Watertown. We talked about such a great season for the Binghamton Black Bears. And I kind of like doing this end of the season kind of review with Brooks, him being obviously the broadcaster, and there's nobody that watches more of the games than I do. He and I really seriously watch and analyze and take a look at every single game. And it was just really good to talk to him, sit down with him. Busy guy this week. Obviously, as everybody knows, YouTube has been taking down all of the basically YouTube pages for the Fed teams. And it's been one of those things where it's making these people scramble a little bit, right? You know, trying to figure out how they're going to broadcast these games. Because one of the things that's really kind of helped this league grow a lot is the fact that they've been giving the free games to everyone. You know, it hasn't hurt. One of the things back in the early days of the Binghamton Rangers, even some of the Binghamton Whalers, there were games that were broadcast on TV, but they did not like doing it because they felt that if you could present it on TV to people, they wouldn't show up to the games. And I think the Black Bears have proven that is not the case. Fans still show up. People still watch on the YouTube channel, and it's a very good thing. But unfortunately, something will have to be figured out for everybody. Now, I will say that on Friday's game, the Black Bears will be hosting a party, a watch party at Craft. Now, if you don't know what Craft is, basically it's a bar-type kitchen area, and the Black Bears have been, this has been one of the company supporters of the Black Bears. Craft has been. So, Craft Bar and Kitchen. So definitely check them out on 135 Washington Street on Friday. The game starts at 7:30. Obviously, you're going to want to get there and, get a table, get whatever you need. Brooks Hill will be there. I'm pretty sure Cole Parente will be there, and they will obviously be calling the game from there, which will be still pretty cool. Again, it's very difficult for a team to go up to Watertown to unfortunately get good internet up there. Jeff Barrett is amazing up there. He's super awesome, but unfortunately, he and Steve Weed Productions their hands are tied when a visiting broadcaster comes in. So Brooks has made the decision to stay. Now, they'll be at Craft Bar and Kitchen. Also, the Black Bears will announce where the game will be broadcast sometime on Thursday. So that is coming. So I just want everybody to know they are working on that. Obviously, the Black Bears YouTube page went down again. Everybody with, the three of us, me, EJ, and Brooks agreed probably not a good idea to put the broadcast on my YouTube channel because obviously YouTube is going through with AI bots and they're looking for certain things to give a reason to take these pages down. Now, there's a lot of reasons why YouTube would want to do that. They make money on music with their YouTube music. They obviously make money with their own advertisements. Everybody kind of has their little opinion about why YouTube is doing this, but they certainly are. Now, as I'm recording right now, it is Wednesday evening. The Columbus Blue Jackets have a 5-2 lead over the Athens Rock Lobsters. So I think if you guys wake up in the morning and you look at the score and you're like, holy cow, Columbus scored 5 or more against Athens, I wouldn't be too surprised. Columbus has stepped up their game in this game from what I've watched so far. It's been very physical because we all know that's what Athens likes to do. They like to make things very physical for anyone that's playing against them. And I think Columbus is just responding really well. I don't think this series is going to be done in 2. I think that series will be done in 3. It'll take 3 games because I have a feeling that if Columbus wins tonight and you guys wake up in the morning and you're listening to the show and you see that Columbus wins, then more than likely you're going to see an Athens response on Friday. So, it was a really good season. I'm looking forward to the playoffs, but it's close to being over, and that's kind of sad. You got 4 possible weeks. There's one thing I can say that I'm very happy about. The FPHL has basically come out and said, listen, they're doing a 5-game championship series. There is going to be no 3 games just because you don't have ice availability. They're going to work around that. They're going to find a way to play a 5-game series. Now, last year, of course, that the Black Bears didn't need 5 games. They did it in 3. But that is still good news. So the points of my monologue here, listen, the Black Bears are in a good position. They're very confident. I actually put out a picture of them all at the end of practice, really kind of holding up their sticks in the air. They were all together. It's a really great picture. I hope everyone saw that picture. I really felt like that exemplifies who the Black Bears are. They are one. Everybody was doing it. They did it together, and it's really key. So the Black Bears, obviously, they're going to have the watch party at Kraft. Okay, they're going to have a channel at some point that they're going to announce. We'll make sure that on the Power Play Post Show, you will have a link to it. I'll make sure that on Friday, when I see the link come up, I will make sure that it's out there. You can check all of the Black Bears social media pages as well to make sure that you can get to the footage. And it's unfortunate that the Black Bears have lost 2 YouTube channels now. And I think that more than likely they're going to probably stick with YouTube at least through the playoffs before deciding on going somewhere else. We do know that the Watertown Wolves will be on Rumble on Friday. Okay, so their broadcast will be on Rumble for everybody to know. I don't know anything about Rumble, but I know that there are younger people that do. And I'm probably going to have to look into it just in case in the future I want to watch someone's feed and they're not on YouTube anymore, because I don't know what the future at this point is of the FPHL and YouTube. I think YouTube is still a great opportunity for Fed teams to use to put content up, right? Like we see all the time in the reels and on Instagram where maybe there's an intern or somebody that works for the team where the players are coming off the ice or going onto the ice for practice and they're asking them those fun questions, right? Like best Christmas movie or something like that. Great stuff for YouTube. But maybe the live sports, even though it's done really well, maybe it's just not the place anymore for the Fed because of YouTube trying to monetize every single little aspect that they can. Like there was a time when you put up a video up on YouTube, you could make a decision to put ads on there, and if you got enough views, they would probably pay you for that video, right? Unfortunately, now you don't have any choice in that, and YouTube just decides they're going to put a ad in there, and they'll decide when the ads come up during your video, unless you're a content creator that has a contract with YouTube, and then those decisions are made by the content creator most of the time. I have videos up on YouTube, obviously, on our Power Play Post Show, Bob Howard YouTube page, and that page is got some older videos. Jeremy Ulabonsky and John Morasti fighting at the outdoor game. And it's got ads on there that it never had before. So I think the Black Bears will have to kind of figure out what they need to do. I know as I'm watching the Columbus River Dragons feed right now, they have a Tom Callahan kind of made mention to what he is doing for ads, how he kind of worked it out with YouTube on doing something specific with saying, hey, listen, you can put up an ad, and then after 5 seconds, they can click off of it. So they've done something that they're hoping will be a workaround for their live sports feeds, but we'll see what happens. Okay. The Power Play Post Show is on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Pocket Cast, YouTube, Amazon Music, and iHeartRadio. Just search Power Play Post Show on whichever platform you listen to your podcast, and please subscribe. Please join the Power Play Post Show Facebook group. Just go to Facebook, search Power Play Post Show, and share with all of your friends. Check out binghamtonhockey.net for all your Binghamton hockey information and curiosity. And on this edition of the Power Play Post Show, you're going to hear from Binghamton Black Bears broadcaster Brooks Hill. I also recorded today with Nick Swain, and that will be on the show, the episode after the Black Bears first round series, right? So whether it's Monday or Sunday that I actually record the segment. I know it's Easter on Sunday. I hope everyone has a great holiday. I'll be watching WrestleMania in between while watching and covering the Binghamton Black Bears, because WrestleMania weekend is this weekend as well. If there's any wrestling fans out there, I'm giving you a shout out. So I will be watching WrestleMania. I'll be watching the Black Bears, covering the Black Bears, and we will be we'll have some sort of show either Sunday or Monday night, depending on how tired I am after working and then covering the game and then coming home. So it might be sometime Tuesday, but I'll probably record some. Either way, I have Nick Swain as the interview for that broadcast. That's what I was trying to get to. Other note that I want to point out that is on Thursday, this Thursday, today, as you're listening to the show, if you haven't seen it yet, at 2 p.m., Taylor Welch, who writes for the Impact Players here on the Power Play Post Show Facebook group, she will be putting out a kind of an essay about the Black Bears this season, the growth of the team, kind of giving semi-grades, so to speak, for offense, defense, goaltending, coaching, and just her overall thoughts. So I tasked her to do that because I wanted to make sure that we were still writing. She's going to still do the Impact Players throughout the playoffs, which will be very cool as well. So basically, let's get to this because I want to get through the preview for the Watertown Wolves and then get you guys listening to Brooks Hill. Okay, the Black Bears will take on, for the third straight season, the Watertown Wolves in the first round of the playoffs. These are the quarterfinals. So here is the schedule coming up. On Friday, they're in Watertown. That is a 7:30 start. The Watertown feed will be on Rumble. The Black Bears will more than likely still be on YouTube. The Black Bears will make the announcement sometime on Thursday, so everybody look out for that. But I think it's still going to be YouTube. Now, on Saturday, it'll be in Binghamton at 7 p.m. On Monday, if needed, in Binghamton, a 7 p.m. start. Now, from what I'm told, the reason why the Black Bears are not going to play the game on Sunday, the arena had made a decision that they just didn't want to do the game on Easter Sunday. You got to remember, Binghamton, the Black Bears and the county, Broome County, so to speak, they have a kind of a working agreement, right? And if you think about it, Easter is a holiday, right? It is a holiday that, a lot of families get together and they do a lot of things. Kids, with the Easter egg hunts and candy and baskets, things of that nature. Well, again, this is their partner. The Broome County in the arena is a partner to the Binghamton Black Bears. And the county asked if they could do the game on Monday instead of Sunday, and the Black Bears obliged to that. And there's not a problem with that. Now, If everything goes the way the Black Bears have it planned, it's moot point. It won't even matter anyways. But that is the schedule, okay? The first 2 times these 2 teams have met in the quarterfinals, the Black Bears prevailed and advanced to the Empire Division Finals. In both of the previous seasons, the Black Bears swept the Wolves in 2 games to advance. The Black Bears are 7-1-0 versus the Wolves this season, okay? Now, they started off the season. Now, they have played all of their games against the Wolves in pairs. Okay, so 4 pairs of games the Black Bears have played. Now, the Black Bears haven't lost to them since my birthday on October 12th, the loss in Binghamton on banner-raising night, Binghamton did beat Watertown on the first game of the season, October 11th, 3-2. It was CMAC versus Jacob Komet. And obviously the Black Bears won that. Good game. Probably the Black Bears didn't play the game that they thought they were going to, and that kind of carried over into Saturday night, where the Black Bears did lose 5-3 on October 12th. It was a loss, CMAC against Borodkin. That was the first game we saw against Borodkin, who will not be playing in the series coming up, okay? He's on the roster. He is technically active, but he is not going to be playing this weekend. Then the next pair of games was November 29th and 30th. The Black Bears won in Watertown 2-1. That was another CMAC and Borodkin game as well, okay? Then on November 30th, that Saturday, the Black Bears in Binghamton, so this was a home-and-home series. First game up in Watertown, second game in Binghamton. Same thing with the first pair of weekend game, the first weekend of the season games. That was first in Watertown, then in Binghamton. On November 29th, Black Bears won 2-1. Then on the 30th, they won 9-2. This was their first, kind of blowout of the season. CMAC versus Borodkin as well. Now, Borodkin never played badly in any of these games, but he definitely was beat pretty good in that game on the 30th. The next pair of games was January 17th and 18th. In the first game on Friday night in Binghamton, Black Bears won 6-3. CMAC got the win, this time against Eli Bouchard. He played in that game instead of Borodkin. Then on January 18th, which was Saturday, still in Binghamton as well, the Black Bears won 4-2. This was the first game that Eggy played against the Watertown Wolves, and of course Borodkin also there. So Borodkin has gotten beat, the majority of the time. 5 out of the 6 games he's played, he lost to the Black Bears, and he's a good goaltender, okay? So he's got good fundamentals. Obviously, the Wolves, when they play a good offensive game, but they don't have a lot of good defense going for them, okay? Then the final pair of games was on March 21st and March 22nd. The Black Bears, both of these games were up in Watertown. The Black Bears won 6-1 on Friday night. That was a CMAC and Brendan Colgan game. Now, Brendan Colgan is probably going to be the guy that we're going to see this weekend against the Black Bears from the Wolves. But he did lose that game. Now, he's a good goaltender. He's played most of his time down south. So he's only come up to the northern teams just recently, and especially coming up to Watertown. Now, the final game against the Wolves was on March 22nd. It was a Saturday up in Watertown. And this was a 7-4 win for C.J. Happard. He also won against Borodkin. Now, in that game, the Black Bears were down 4-0, and then stormed back and scored 7 unanswered goals to win this game. And a lot of people question, why not pull Happard after the first period, after being down 4-0? It didn't really matter. The Black Bears still played their game. They came out in the second period, played their game, and did well. Now, again, probably the only concern you're going to have with the Black Bears and Watertown is that the Wolves come out in their first period and play very, very well. They did that in the first game of the season on October 11th. They showed that, obviously, still that they can do that on March 22nd. Okay, so to summarize, the Black Bears, again, are 7-1-0 against the Wolves this season. CMAC is 5-1 against them. Eggy was 1-0, and Happard was also 1-0. Okay, so all three of our goaltenders, no matter what happens over the next few days or getting into this, all three of these goaltenders can win against the Wolves. They have wins. They're going to have confidence. All right, here's some extended stats from the season between these two teams. All right, the Black Bears have scored 40 goals against the Watertown Wolves, and the Wolves have only scored 20 goals against the Black Bears. So that is a 100% differential rate, if you think about it. The Black Bears have scored twice the amount that the Wolves have in this series. Doesn't mean this series is going to be easy either. Now, shots on goal for the Black Bears, 357 shots for, and the Wolves have only gotten 225 shots on goal. Now, the Black Bears have only allowed two teams twice, or actually just two teams, to outshoot the Black Bears. One of those games was the 11-29 game against the Wolves. Now, the 11-29 game, the Black Bears still won the game 2-1, but the Wolves did outshoot them 38-27, and that was up in Watertown. So that's just a little fun note there, right? So the Black Bears, out of 56 games, have only been outshot twice. It was 2 days in a row. It was on the 29th, and I believe the 31st of November. Or it might be the reverse. It might be the 27th and the 29th. Either way, one game was the Watertown Wolves, and that was on 11-29. Now, power play goals. The Black Bears have scored 11 power play goals against the Wolves, and the Wolves have only scored 6. So it's almost double there as well. So just like goals for and goals against, the shots for, very, very lopsided numbers towards the Black Bears. Okay. Now, continuing on with a little bit of the extended stats, Austin Thompson has scored 2 shorthanded goals against the Wolves, and Blake Tosto has a shorty. The Wolves have not scored a shorthanded goal against the Black Bears this season. The Black Bears, one of the best penalty-killing teams out there. The Wolves played on Tuesday night in the Empire Division's wild card play-in game against the Motor City Rockers. The Wolves won 4-2 over the Rockers up in Watertown, where the Black Bears and the Wolves will play Game 1 on Friday night. In that game, the Wolves got goals from Dominic Della Savita, Stephen Klink, Ludlow Harris Jr., and Trevor Grasby. Brendan Colgan saved 24 of 26 shots in the win. I expect Brendan Colgan to be playing for the Wolves. The Black Bears finished their regular season with a record of 49-6-1 with 143 points. The Wolves finished their season with a record of 28-23-4 with 83 points. That's a 60-point differential between the two teams. Now, the Wolves are led by, and where the difference is between the Black Bears and the Wolves in a lot of cases is not really at the top end, right? The top end, they have a couple, probably 3 very good playmaking players, okay? Trevor Lord has 38 goals, 47 assists for 85 points in 52 games played. 12 power play goals, 5 shorthanded goals, 8 game-winning goals. You're going to find that Trevor and David, their numbers are similar to Tyson and Austin. Now, Tyson and Austin have a little bit more in the pointage, but it's very similar. Now, David Guieda has 38 goals and 44 points, or 44 assists, which is 84 points in 51 games played, 10 power play goals, and 4 game-winning goals. So let's try that again. Yeah, 44. It'd be 44. 46 assists for David Guieda. Okay, Trevor Grasby has 9 goals, 66 assists for 75 points in 55 games played. He's kind of like your Dakota Bond, so to speak, when you look at the numbers. He has got 3 power play goals and 1 game-winning goal. Brendan Colgan is 17, 14, and 3, not all with, obviously, the Watertown Wolves, but a 2.97 goals against average and a 9.14 save percentage. Again, I think Brendan is going to be the goaltender for them. Justin Coachman, head coach, came in and stabilized this team after everything went a little crazy after the
good start that they had. They had a really good team up there that they had put together. And then just kind of everything went crazy. Their original head coach left, and then Coachman went in. And Coachman he's kind of solidified, slowed down the craziness, stabilized that team, which I think is good. Now the Black Bears are led by Tyson Kirkby, 37 goals, 60 assists for 97 points in 46 games played, 12 power play goals, 4 shorthanded goals, 4 game-winning goals. Just like Trevor Lord, literally has his part in every single part of the game. All right. Austin Thompson, 39 goals, 38 assists for 77 points in 55 games played, 6 power play goals, 4 shorthanded goals, and 9 game-winning goals. CJ Stubbs, 23 goals, 43 assists for 66 points in 43 games played, 7 power play goals, 2 shorthanded goals, and 4 game-winning goals. Don't be surprised if you see CJ Stubbs playing on the top line with Tyson Kirkby and Austin Thompson. They've been practicing together the last few weeks, and I wouldn't be surprised if they go into that where Kyle Steffen and Gavin Yates might be playing with Donald Oliveri. So We'll see as that goes along there. All right, Connor Smith for the Black Bears has 30 wins, 3 losses, and 1 overtime loss, which was a shootout loss, actually, and has a 208 goals against average and a 922 save percentage. And, of course, the head coach of the Binghamton Black Bears is Brant Sherwood, last year winning the championship and really just making the team a little bit better today. Now, special teams wise, we talked a little bit about special teams, but let's talk a little bit more about how they finished the season. Binghamton finished the power play ranked number 1. And what's funny is they're ranked number 1 over the Watertown Wolves. Now, they had 71 power play goals, had more chances than everybody else, but they did capitalize a lot more. 71 power play goals, a 2.262% average. So it's 26%, but we break it down. We break these numbers down just because of against the Watertown. Now, Watertown's power play is ranked number 2 with 60 power play goals, and they are a .260. So they're 2 1,000ths of a difference between the two teams. What that says is when they're given the chance, if you give both teams 4 power play chances, more than likely they're going to score at least 1 power play goal. So they're basically 25% or a little bit higher of a percentage to score a power play goal if you give them 4 chances. If you give them 8 chances, it's going to be 2 power play goals. It's pretty simple math there. And they make it pretty simple, those two teams. Now, the PK for Binghamton is ranked number 3, only giving up 35 power play goals against this year for an 86% percentage kill rate. And then the Watertown Wolves are ranked 8th in the league. They've given up 47 power play goals, and they're a 799 or basically 80% kill rate. The Black Bears lead the league with 18 shorthanded goals, and the Wolves have scored 9 shorties this season. So the Black Bears have doubled that. So look out for that. You got to look out for that. The Wolves are going to have to look out for the Black Bears when they do that. All right, keys to this series. Here's what I wrote down. A strong first period up in Watertown. Really what it comes down to is that first period up in Watertown is huge. Everybody knows that Watertown and the Black Bears up in Watertown, the Wolves have played well. They come out and they're going to come out firing. They're going to come out. They did it against Motor City on Tuesday. They came out and played very well. This is something that Brant has stressed to the team, to come out in the first period and play well in Watertown. Now, they have done that a couple times this year where they've gone out and dominated the first period against Watertown in Watertown, but we have noticed that they have struggled a little bit in the first period. Okay, limit power play chances against the Wolves. This is obvious. We just talked about this with the special teams. They have been near the top of the league all season long, just like the Black Bears, and Lord and Gaeta are dangerous a man up. It's pretty simple. You really, to be successful against the Wolves, just don't get into a lot of power play or penalty kill situations against them, because they will make them pay. All right? Play Black Bears hockey. It's really that simple, right? Play your systems, get the puck in, start cycling the puck, and really start to look for the avenues in the open lanes. If you do that, that's Black Bears hockey in a nutshell, right? Get that puck in, cycle the puck, get it to the point if you need to, get it down in low, which would be great because you're going to have Austin Thompson, you're going to have Tyson Kirkby in front of the net. On the power play, you're going to pull Austin Thompson out to the bumper position. And that's been very successful this year. I think that's why his power play numbers went up this year. His goal scoring went up. Play that style of hockey against the Wolves, and you're going to be fine. So I think it's going to be a very good series. I think the Black Bears are going to do well. And just before I move on, looks like it is Columbus 6 and Athens 3. So it's going to be an interesting game. Will Athens come back and take game 1, or will Columbus hold on for the game 1 winner? I guess you guys will know as you're listening to this show a little bit later. All right. So coming up next year on the Power Play Post Show is, of course, the man, the myth, the legend, the defending, reigning broadcaster of the year. He is Brooks Hill. We'll be right back right after this, right here on the Power Play Post Show.
Hi, this is Don Biggs from the 92-93 Binghamton Rangers. Hi, this is Brandon Buczynski.
This is Grady Wittenberg, the voice of the Binghamton Senators, and you're listening to the Power Play Post Show.
Here is another Power Play Post Show interview exclusive with Bob Howard.
And welcome back, everybody, to the Visions Veterans Memorial Arena. Yes, I can read it right off of the big Jumbotron in front of me. I am here. It is Wednesday morning, and practice is going on. If you do hear some of the pucks hitting the posts and you hear the whistle from head coach Brant Sherwood, that's because we're here at practice. And I am here with the reigning, defending broadcaster of the year. He is Brooks Hill. Brooks, welcome back to the show.
Appreciate it, Bob, and it's really nice to finally, not going to be able to have to hear that anymore about broadcaster of the year because
you can't win it twice.
I've already been told that I didn't win it this year. So
best broadcast in the business. I'm sorry.
Well, it's all good. I'm happy for whoever did win. I actually do not know who won, and I don't know when the league is going to announce the entirety of the league awards. I only knew which Black Bears are recipients of the league awards.
Oh. So I can't tickle you to death to get that out of you right now, right here?
I'll tell you, it's not 7 that we had last year. How about that?
Fair enough. Brooks, what a great season for the Binghamton Black Bears. Obviously finishing, 49-6-1 with 143 points. 143 points just seems unfathomable, but that's what they did here. What's your thoughts overall on the season?
It flew by like crazy this year. Really hard to believe that October was 6 months ago when we raised the banner here at home after a really good game at Watertown to start the season. Just incredible the way that the guys were able to play together this year. Obviously, it's no secret with how dominant they've been all year long. No really big rough patches that they went through. Not losing consecutive games this year was really huge, and that's big at any level. I was a part of a lacrosse team back in high school, and we finished the year 10-6, but we never lost back-to-back games.
Yeah.
So I have been part of a team like that before, and it's really cool, but not in this kind of dominating fashion. Obviously scoring 10 goals 3 times was huge. Especially when they got to do it against Columbus too. I think that was the big surprise of the season. Really different in the way that they won games this year. Last year we had a lot of come from behind victories, and this year we really weren't behind all that much. The big comeback that comes to mind was the 4-0 game up in Watertown. But realistically, besides that game, we really never had the big comebacks like we did last year.
Yeah, and it's also very interesting that this team also
garnered more shutouts this year, right? So I talked about it, 3 games, 10 goals or more. They actually had like 5 games where you had 9 goals or more, right? So pretty impressive run there. But the shutouts, the defense this year has even been better than last year.
Yeah, and I don't think that's just a Binghamton thing. I think that's a thing that goes across the league now, where teams are starting to find better defensemen.
Mm-hmm.
You look at teams like Port Huron, who I think have taken a huge step forward this year.
Yeah.
And now maybe it could be changing divisions, going from the Continental last year to the Empire this year. They're playing a lot more of the northern teams. So maybe that has a little bit to do with it. But the way that they've also recruited their college guys, a lot of their players coming from the same university and system, so they're already familiar playing with each other. I think that helps as well. I think teams are starting to take more advantage of the college signees at the end of the season. Now, granted, there are still some teams who really didn't sign anybody the last month or month and a half of the season.
Mm-hmm. Which is weird to me. You have the opportunity to bring these guys in early and have them, try out, work with the team, get accustomed to pro hockey for the first time. And then, it's kind of like your first love. You're going to want to go back to that team. So I think they're like hindering themselves for next year's recruitment by not bringing in some of those guys early now.
Very well could be, especially with the way the visas work right now in our league. Every year with Canadians on the roster, and even some teams with Europeans. I know our team doesn't have any Europeans, but some teams do. That's a risk that you're going to have to run is what's their visa process going to be like next year? Do they get delayed in coming over the border like we experienced with Josh Fletcher back at the beginning of the year? So, having guys, particularly in college, who maybe still qualify on their student visa if they're international is a huge help for the program. And I'm surprised that there are still some teams who haven't maxed out their capability with college signees.
Yeah, and I think, obviously we saw last night the Watertown Wolves took care of business against the Motor City Rockers. Baratkin, their goalie, he's kind of fallen into those waters where he had to leave and has been reactivated, so he'll be eligible for next season as well. But I don't think we'll see Baratkin this weekend because I think he's still out of the country at the moment. I think Blue Ridge has a bunch of European guys, so there are teams out there that clearly are going to fall into this. Your thoughts on goaltending this year? I think that Connor McAnanama, probably a good front runner to win goalie of the year. I don't know if it's going to happen, but I think he's got a good chance of that. Only goaltender to hit 30 wins this year. Eggy had 15 wins. Happy had 4 wins in his 4 starts, so he's looked good already. Your thoughts on goaltending?
Yeah, definitely a step forward. Last year Binghamton rolled with the 3 goaltender approach for the majority of the season. I still hate that we had to part ways with Sam Lavecchi. He's a personal friend who me and some of the other guys in the office got close with. We're still in contact with him. We actually hit him up when we were going to Buffalo last week for the Sabres Hurricanes game to see if he was going to be able to, make the drive over from Rochester. So, unfortunately, it is a business at the end of the day, and there are decisions that Coach Sherwood and Andreas have to make to propel this team to move the best way forward, and they thought that was the right decision. And I'm not a hockey coach or an owner, so they have a better opinion than I do on the topic. This year, for majority, going with the 2 goaltender approach with C-Mac and Eggy has definitely worked out. Eggy picked up 2 shutouts. Connor got 4 this year. Those were absolutely huge. I think both of them stepped up their play. Eggy was in training camp with the Fayetteville Marksmen at the beginning of the season in the SPHL with some of his prior connections that he met before the Black Bears. I think both guys have been dedicated to improving. I was talking with Coach Sherwood in particular about C-Mac the other day because we had one of the news stations reach out for an interview with C-Mac.
Sure.
And Brant was talking about how he really locked in the off season, training on the ice. He was coaching and that I don't know the exact name of that camp that Tyson Kirkby coaches at.
There's an elite camp out in the New England area, I think Massachusetts, where Connor does that. Yeah.
So he was training hard, and he was on the ice a lot this summer.
Yeah.
That's what Coach Sherwood attests that to. I think running with the two goaltender approach forced the guys to stay more locked in. Because you look at it last year, where CMAC only had 20 regular season wins, I believe it was, and goes up to 30 this year.
Yeah.
Is pretty incredible. And then same with Eggy. Don't find too many people in this league who your quote-unquote backup goaltender has 15 wins.
Yeah.
Like he does. And then for CJ to come in, get his games in, make 4 starts and win all 4 of them is also just incredible and shows his mental toughness as well, particularly in that road game in Watertown where first period he gets shelled and it's 4-0.
Yeah.
And, the Black Bears could have made a switch, could have gone to CMAC off the bench to play the second and third, but they didn't. Comes back and doesn't allow another goal after the opening 20.
The other thing I liked about him is the game where it's 2 shorthanded goals. It's a power play goal. That's what he gave up. Nothing even strength. And he had the mindset, the ability to just keep going forward and not think about that. It's almost like he was able to block it completely out. And not that any of those goals were really his fault. They were good goals and, turnovers, odd man rushes, that type of thing, which, the Black Bears sometimes will give up just because of their style of play. And yet, boom, he powered through that.
It's, you have to show your mental toughness in this league.
Yeah.
I think that's very underrated that fans maybe don't understand. That's not only a player and coaching thing, that's a staff thing as well. There are things that get flipped on their side in a moment's notice, and you completely have to pivot.
Yeah.
Goaltending is always like that. I feel like you have to be able to have amnesia. Forget about the last goal that just went in. Whether it was your fault or not, you have to be able to focus on the next save because that's the one that's the most important.
What else stands out for you this season? I mean, they only lost 7 times. It's such a odd thing to say when you're talking about 56 games. The winning percentage, what was it, 851? So very impressive as well. What else stood out to you about this season?
I thought the way that some guys elevated their game this year really took off.
Thompson?
Austin Thompson probably stands out the most just by looking at his stats. The last 2 years he was at the same number of total points, just flip-flop goals and assists.
Yeah, which is crazy.
This year, second in the league in scoring, finishes 1 goal behind the leader. 39 is a great number to have. Obviously, we would have loved to see him get to 40. But just came up 1 game short. It's all right. Tyson stepped up this year. Last year he finished with 80 points, and this year he went to 97.
Crazy.
It's crazy. Oliveri played in
more games than he had.
I think 35 games this year out of the 56. So every year that Don's been a member of the team, he's increased his amount of games played, going from the first year where he played the minimum to qualify for the postseason, now to playing over 2/3 of the games.
Yeah.
That's also such a huge help. Guys like Cam Clark, I know you talked about it, I believe, last week on the show, but he came in at the end of last year, was finishing his time at SUNY Mooresville, big contributor right away in that circumstance. But this year, he still has 20 goals, like just as many as Gavin Yates, and he had a 10-game goals drought.
Yeah.
Like, it's incredible, some of those guys stepping up. I thought Fletcher, after missing the first month and a half of the season, with visa issues, steps in, becomes a team tough guy without Mathieu Boilard. Like, those are things that are, maybe don't show up in a stat sheet or in a post-game recap, but those are things that you notice being around the guys all the time, how much respect they have for each other. The way that, Dakota Bond, Dan Stone, Jesse Anderson, Dan Weaver, the 4 of them have elevated their defensive play as a unit. Obviously, Dakota has more points than what he did last year.
Yeah.
I think his defensive game went up this year as well. And Dan Stone, already a great defender, we all know that. His offensive capabilities improved this year is he had more points. Jesse Anderson getting a new career high in points. Just things like that. Just they're committed to improving. And they're also showing that they are a pretty mentally tough team.
Yeah, and they kind of have to be in this league, and we've kind of chronicled over the episodes of the Power Play Post Show, the different things that have come at their way, the adversities. And Coach talks about adversity all the time, sometimes self-inflicted by himself with some of the suspensions, but he knows it is what it is, and it'll get better. But they've won through those adversities, whether it was injuries or whether it was suspensions. This team never lost more than one game in a row, as you've already mentioned. But at the same time, they've gotten through those types of things. We talked about it last year, adversity, but this year, teams still going to go through adversity, and they've come through it with flying colors.
Yeah, there's no shortage of adversity. I just think it comes in different ways. Last year, we hit a big rough patch when we lost 4 games in a row before the tail end of the season.
Middle of March, yeah.
Yeah, 2 in Watertown and then both the teams in Michigan.
Yeah.
That was not a fun bus ride home. I'll tell you that. Actually, both of them. Not fun bus rides back to Binghamton. This year, I think the adversity has come with dealing with the suspensions, the appeals, things like that. We have lost a lot. We have lost a lot of man games this year due to suspension.
Yeah.
But that's something that they've had to overcome. Coach Sherwood was out 5 consecutive games, and the team went 4-1 in those opportunities.
Well, Coach Fletcher he's a rock star behind the bench now.
Yeah, dude, he's actually figuring it out, and I talked with him about it when he came up to the office one day last week. And he said the first game that he did, he wasn't saying anything at all. He was just standing there, being a little puppet. But
I probably would have been too.
Yeah.
I would have nope, I'm not saying a word.
And then by the time that we were down in Athens for his final game as acting head coach, he was able to have rapport with the referees and understand, like, hey, if you actually want to have a conversation with the officials, is like, this is what you need to sound like.
Yeah.
You can't just, yell and wave your hands, things like that. Like, there's a certain demeanor that you have to carry yourself in. And by the end of those 5 games, it's essentially, 3 weeks the way that the schedule played out.
Yeah.
He had started to figure it out a little bit.
Yeah, you could actually see him on the video because in Athens they actually showed the bench a few different times, and you could see him walking up and down, talking, getting engaged into it, which was pretty impressive. It's about growth, right? And if you think about it, that's one thing that the Black Bears players are doing is growing as players, as human beings, and Coach Sherwood loves that about his team. It's why he says to the guys, college recruits coming in, finish your degree, get it done. If you need time, if you can't be at a practice because you need to be in school, go ahead and do that.
Yeah, it's a huge added plus, I think, for these guys' futures, that they're around so many people, with their undergraduate degree. Some of our guys have their master's degree.
Right.
My mother just retired last Friday, so now both of my parents are retired. My mom still, to this day, talks about her biggest regret in life is not finishing her master's degree after she started.
Well, congratulations, Mrs. Hill, on her retirement. That's awesome. I eventually want to get there someday. I'm closer to retirement than you are, Brooks.
Hopefully. Hopefully I'm not forced into retirement anytime here. But it is important. I think you're seeing a shift in the dynamic, the way that players are recruited here in this league, and it's starting to become younger.
Yeah,
which I think is a good thing. They're really embracing the word prospect and Federal Prospect Hockey League.
But they do need some veterans and some journeymen as well, because I think that's important to help teach those young guys how to play hockey and be a pro.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I was listening to another podcast yesterday.
Wait, whoa! You listened to another? You're cheating on me.
I actually listened to a bunch of podcasts.
It's okay.
It's always work smarter, not harder. And if I have to drive around town and everything like that, I might as well be listening to somebody talk about hockey. I listen to NHL podcasts. I listen to a podcast that recaps all the Hurricanes games
Oh,
because
of
I
course.
do miss a lot of them.
Yes, I'm sure you do.
So I know I still have my finger on the pulse. So yeah, there's a lot of hockey podcasts that I do listen to, but one of them was talking about the way that minor league hockey is shifting. In the ECHL and the AHL, where it's becoming a lot younger, where you're not really seeing a whole bunch of 30-year-olds, 35-year-olds in the AHL anymore, and really not in the ECHL either. You're getting guys who are 19, maybe play 1 or 2 years of college, and they're going to go play with the AHL instead of continuing to be in school, and because you want to get them in your system, develop them, things like that. But you also need to teach these young guys, and at that level, maybe they're a little bit younger. A lot of our guys are finished college, but relatively in the 22 to 24 age. Got to teach them how to be a pro hockey player and the things that you're going to have to deal with. Because eventually, for everybody who's out on the ice right now, playing hockey one day is going to come to an end at this kind of level.
Yes.
And you need to be ready. You got to learn how to prepare. Not everybody on this team is going to be a CEO or a business owner where they're calling the shots. You're going to have to be part of an office team. And you're going to have to learn how to, deal with conflict, how to overcome adversity, things like that. Things that they learn on the ice will translate into the corporate world later on. Just to be determined when that date's going to be.
Talking about adversity, unfortunately, the Black Bears as an organization has gone through some adversity with, unfortunately, the part that affects you the most, which is broadcasting. Obviously, everybody knows that the YouTube channel has been shut down now twice, and this one's got to sting very much to you because this is a part of your livelihood, being able to tell the games, tell the story of the game. And YouTube has been a big part of that for the past, 4 years for the Black Bears and, of course, for this league for a while now. Your thoughts on this? At first, we all thought, hey, maybe this was some sort of sabotage. But as more and more teams and other leagues have also seen their YouTube pages shut down, it could be something even, bigger or grand than sabotage, so to speak, from other nefarious forces, so to speak. Your thoughts on, the broadcasting of these games on YouTube and maybe what the future might bring?
Well, I'll give you my PG thoughts because yesterday I probably had some rated R thoughts.
I'm glad it's today that we're talking than yesterday.
Yeah, if you would have caught me yesterday with a microphone, you would have been having to use the bleep button a whole lot. It's huge for adversity, and I'm going to try to explain this as easy for the casual Black Bears fan to understand.
Sure.
So, I think everybody with the Black Bears, whether you're a fan, staff member, player, everyone's familiar with what YouTube is. It's a place where people go and they watch videos, live streams, things like that. And to most everybody in the world, it's free.
Yeah.
They have an option for like YouTube Premium where you don't watch ads on the videos that like YouTube puts in, but we really don't use that. Unfortunately, leagues, college conferences normally have deals that are put into place with streaming platforms like a ESPN Plus, like a SNY, Fox Sports, Peacock, Netflix, Hulu, like all those things. So typically, the league or the conference has a deal set up with a streaming partner. The ECHL and the AHL use Flow Sports or a subsidiary of Flow Sports. I know there's AHL.TV, which I think is a back engine of Flow.
Yeah, it is.
Our league does not have a deal in place.
Right.
They were just using YouTube for live streaming, which, your channel can start a live stream right now.
Yes.
My personal YouTube channel could start a live stream right now.
Right.
And it's a little bit of a double-edged sword on one side, the league has grown to a point, which is good, that more people are tuning in and watching these games.
Yeah.
And at surface level, people are interested more in the FPHL than what they were 4 years ago.
Yeah.
When they made the switch to go to YouTube.
I mean, you guys hit 1,000 before on your streams.
Yep.
You know, so there's a lot of eyeballs that come across Black Bears TV sometimes, and other teams as well. Carolina, Athens, the Columbus.
Yeah. So the other side of that sword is now that so many people are tuning in and so many people are subscribing to the channel, eventually that just sets off a bell in YouTube algorithm.
Sure.
And algorithm for everybody is it's not a person who's employed by YouTube or Google.
It's AI.
Yeah, it's an AI system that tunes into a game.
Yeah.
And it detects when copyrighted music is playing. Now, obviously, the music is no way, shape, or form the main subject of our broadcast. It's the actual game of hockey. Unfortunately, customer support, managerial teams at YouTube. I know this is an audio podcast, but for everybody back at home, I did air quotes.
Air quote.
All those people, I say also in air quotes, are AI.
Yeah.
And it detects that, hey, you guys were playing AC/DC.
Yeah.
And it automatically sends us an email. We used to get emails after every game being like, hey, we detected these 3 songs.
Wow.
But we were not monetizing our live stream on YouTube, which means is YouTube is not paying the Black Bears to run ads on our stream.
Right.
And they're giving us a little cutback every month or something like that. We never did that. We sell the ads ourselves, and they are embedded in our stream. Like when I say it's time to go to commercial.
Which is okay to do,
Yes.
right? I'm understanding.
It
You
is.
guys are allowed to do that. That's not what's at play here.
No, I truly believe it is the music detection, and I think that's why so many teams now are getting taken down all within a month of each other.
Yeah.
It's crazy. We thought that making the backup channel was
Would
going
be
to be a way around it. Obviously, we found out yesterday on Wednesday that it's not going to be that case. So now we're exploring different options because now we're in a catch-22 situation. The easiest thing is to get behind a paywall, but we know that the consumer, the fans, might not like that.
Yeah.
And that's the last resort that we want to do is
Right.
put the game behind a paywall.
Right.
We're looking at platforms that offer free live streaming to the consumer. But the counter of that is a lot of the places that we're finding do what's called mid-roll ads. And what that means is the site. So, for example, Facebook has a live streaming platform.
Yeah.
Twitch.tv, Rumble. Those are 3 sites that are probably in the top 4 with YouTube for free live streaming.
Right.
The 3 of those sites choose when they are going to run ads. Not that the Black Bears play. It's the ads that Facebook plays.
Yeah, right. No, I know
like
exactly
that.
what you mean. Yeah.
And they can control whenever those come up.
Yeah.
And we can't do anything about it.
Yeah.
So
We could miss a goal.
You could.
You could miss a goal. You could miss a big save, an important thing like an injury on the ice. Not that we ever want to really see that, but to the point is, big things could be missed because, boom, they just automatically run an ad.
yeah, it could be, oh, hey, like that live stream just got to 800 viewers. We're going to run an ad real quick so everybody sees it. And obviously that it's not great, but it's something that we have to evaluate here, and we don't have a ton of time before Friday's game. So it is – that's what we're going through right now. And I know it's not just a Binghamton thing. I want to make that – I don't want this to be a pity party.
No, we saw 2 hours after the Wolves game on Tuesday night. Boom, their stream or their YouTube channel went down.
It's happened to other teams. The Carolina Thunderbirds as well had theirs taken down. So it's definitely affecting more than just the Black Bears. And it's something I think that over the summer, the league is probably going to have to talk about and try to figure out maybe a better solution, because you want everybody to be under the same platform if possible.
Yes.
Because that's just good for the league. It's just a good representation. It's a good way to promote it and get people to watch it. But they're going to have to figure something out.
Now, I think I think there are some good platforms that there could be something that's worked out in terms of next season.
Right.
I think right now it's just about getting through the playoffs. And then big conversations can be had. So we're looking for like a short-term fix, like a Band-Aid.
Yeah.
Right here before we, cut it off.
Yep.
On a personal note, it really does stink for creatives and broadcasters like myself and EJ.
Sure.
Unfortunately,
A lot of your guys' stuff is on YouTube that now has been taken down twice.
Correct. So I only have what we've already saved. Now, granted, EJ does a really good job of backing up, the game highlights he has saved on his on a hard drive, and we have a lot of space.
Yeah.
The bad thing is right now, for example, I'll give this is great. This ties into last weekend with Hall of Fame. If the Wilkes-Barre Scranton Penguins broadcaster, and I don't know who it is, gets sick, and Jason Spezza has to be like, "Oh, I remember the guy in Binghamton." It's like, let me check on that real quick.
You had a conversation with him before he left. I know.
He's like, well, let me look him up real quick.
Yeah.
Binghamton Black Bears on YouTube. Nothing comes up.
Yeah.
There's no highlights. He can't pick a game to see what does he sound like on air?
Right.
Can I get through an AHL game with him? Things like that. So that part of it, quite frankly, just sucks.
Yeah.
Plain and simple. That as I start to send resumes out or people check in on the work that I'm doing.
Some of it is not there unless you put out a B-roll of all of your material. It makes it difficult and there's a lot of young broadcasters in this league that are going to go through the same thing. Devin Dubik, we don't know if Dashers has gone down yet, but Devin's one of those guys. Doug Luke, there are good young player or broadcasters out there that some of their stuff is going to go bye-bye if YouTube decides to pull the trigger.
It is, and it's not like I say. It's just not like a me, not a me thing. You just mentioned a couple of guys in the league who it will affect, and it also affects people like EJ who, have video production, cut up, graphics on YouTube, things like that.
Something that he could point to a potential other employer and say, hey, take a look at this or take a look at this, and now it's not there.
Yeah, where now it's crazy, and we've tried everything to try to get those two channels back, but unfortunately those are just lost causes, and we've probably seen the last game for the Black Bears streamed on YouTube. We're probably going to have to be moving somewhere else.
Now, of course, once you guys do have a decision made once you guys announce that, Power Play Post Show will obviously also get that out there to all the fans as well. As soon as we know what you guys decide to do, we'll make sure that everybody that we can get out there knows about it as well. Let's talk about our weekend opponent and the decision to play Monday if Game 3 is needed instead of Sunday, which other teams have decided to do. Watertown. The Watertown Wolves, obviously the Black Bears have handled them pretty well. However, the Wolves did win Game 1 here in this barn, so the first home game in this barn on banner-raising night. Your thoughts on going against Watertown in the first round of the playoffs for the third straight year in a row?
Yeah, 3 times seeing the same opponent in the first round kind of reminds me of Hurricanes Islanders that I just really got tired of seeing.
Yeah.
But
did you guys really want to go to Michigan?
No.
Yeah.
No, that's completely fine. That's on the record, especially on short notice. So we had somewhat of a contingency plan that if we were going to go to Motor City, we were leaving on Thursday.
Okay.
And then we were just going to power through the night and come back.
Right after the game?
Right after the game. It was going to be really
that would have been tough.
It was going to be really tough.
But it is
now,
Watertown, which is good.
Yes. So that's obviously a day trip for the guys. We're working on something for all the fans back here in Binghamton to do Friday night for those who choose not to go to the Watertown Municipal Arena. But in terms of the matchup with Watertown, obviously I like it a lot. We went 7-1-0 against them this year.
Yep.
And the only time that Watertown was able to beat us was on opening night here after that tremendous ceremony that we had. But, they came out ready to start that night. They were able to get up early, and they were able to build a comfortable lead, and the Black Bears really not just being able to complete the comeback. Don't want to say they gave up on the game, but, when the defending champs and you lose your first home game, I think a lot of people have a lot of questions. I think Watertown had to deal with some off-ice distractions a little bit more than what the Black Bears had to deal with this year.
Right.
Going through their coaching change, some players getting put on league suspension for speaking out. That's stuff that maybe people forgot about, but guys who have been stuck around the whole year for them. They have a lot of guys who played over 50 games for their team this year.
Yeah.
They have two guys who finished with 38 goals, one behind Austin Thompson and Gaeta and Lord.
Yeah.
Those
two
guys,
really great players and great goal scorers, too.
Yeah, so, going to be tricky. I do not think they're as deep as the Black Bears.
No.
I don't think that's a hard criticism of the Wolves.
No.
I think Coachman probably...
He came in and, I don't want to say righted the ship, but, calmed the ship down and got them back to a affordable team again. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think he plugged the holes in the ship.
Yes.
I think that was able to really, put him in the right direction to be playing good going into the playoffs. Now, I think they tripped up a little bit right at the end of the year,
Sure.
but that happens sometimes. But they were able to take care of business last night against Motor City.
They looked good.
They traded for Brendan Colgan from Baton Rouge. And now Colgan's on a team that's in the quarterfinals versus a team that lost in the playing game last night. I think the Wolves are a good team. And remember last year in Game 1 in Watertown, the Wolves were up 2-0 after the first period. Then the Black Bears scored the next 4 goals. So wouldn't be surprised if Watertown starts early. They always seem to have great starts in Watertown.
Yes. Their first period in Watertown seems to be very good. There's always distractions on and off the ice, for the Black Bears or for any team in the league. It feels like this season going into the playoffs, the Black Bears are probably in the best place that they've been. Would you agree that coming into this series against Watertown, this is probably the smoothest, the calmest, the most, centered this team has been?
It probably has. And I think because there's a little bit of expectation that a lot of people outside the 8 teams or the 7 other teams that are in the postseason are just expecting Binghamton to repeat, as Commissioner Cup champions this year.
And yet they got to play the games on the ice.
They do. That's why you don't play on paper, and anything can happen. Somebody could get hurt, and it could really flip the momentum of the series. Obviously, you never hope for injuries to either side.
Right.
But it's a possibility that could happen. Maybe you have one puck that goes off the post, a centimeter off its mark, and instead of going into the net, it bounces out.
Yeah.
Things like that. Those, unfortunately, they add up. You need to make your own luck in the playoffs. I will say that typically the harder working team wins the series.
Yeah.
But you have to make sure that you're going to be the hardest working team. I think skill-wise, we have no reason not to succeed. I think we're great in terms of depth all the way around. We probably have about 6 guys fighting for the last 4 forward spots.
Yeah.
And we have 7 defensemen to play 6 spots.
Yeah.
They could really play on any given night.
On any team.
So, and I don't think there's a wrong decision to go with in goal. I don't think it's a surprise, that C-Mac is going to start.
He's the number one, right? Everybody
So,
knows that.
he got him this far,
Yeah.
Wins 30 games. But, I think that they can win no matter who they put in goal.
Yeah.
I think they can win no matter who they put on the ice. They proved that this year. They won games without Kirkby. They won games without Oliveri, without Stubbs, without Yates, without Steffen. So I don't see another
And you
reason
also
why they
have
don't
a
win.
third line, potential third line with Cam Clark, Chris Ma, and say Scott Ramakers that's got almost 40 goals. I mean, I'm sorry, but that's a line that can score. Okay, so what should the fans be looking out for if they're listening to this on Thursday morning when this is broadcast? What should they be looking out for from the Black Bears announcement-wise, especially to view the game?
Yeah, so a lot of things. Probably going to be a lot of text messages, Facebook posts, constant contact emails going out this week in particular. Let's start with tickets for the home game.
Yes,
because that's been a big question of concern this week in the office. Some people, if they got their playoff tickets a little bit earlier, will notice that some of the tickets say Friday and some tickets say Saturday. Obviously, we know we're playing Saturday and Monday if necessary.
Right.
The way you tell what game your ticket is for is you look in the top left corner of the ticket.
Okay.
And it says BB for Black Bears, PL for playoffs, and then it says 1 or 2.
Right.
So that would stand for home game 1, home game 2. So
regardless of what day it says on there, you need to look at the game 1 and game 2 portion of that in the left-hand corner of the ticket.
yes, that is the easy. We actually printed off forms and we taped them up to the front desk of the office today
to show people. Okay,
it's
good.
like, hey, this is what, and we checked. It's on every ticket, even
Good.
if you get them online through Ticketmaster. The mobile ticket,
Yeah.
the event code.
It still says game 1, game 2.
Correct.
Okay, good.
So that's what people need to pay attention for coming into the home games.
Okay.
Some announcements.
Obviously, the broadcast announcement will happen eventually.
Yes.
As soon as you guys figure out what you guys are going to do.
As soon as we're done with that, that'll be one announcement. We're working on setting up a remote broadcast on location for Friday night's game in Watertown, a watch party style-esque things.
Explain to the fans real quick, 5 seconds, why can't you guys broadcast up in Watertown? Because we love Jeff Barrett. Steve Weed does a great job, but there are other problems there. Really quick, what's the problem?
Unfortunately, there's not enough internet for them to share, and it's bad because it does eliminate a lot of broadcasters going to Watertown.
Yeah.
Very quickly, when Carolina went to Watertown and then played Binghamton the next night back in March, Brendan Riley did the broadcast from the hotel
room
in Watertown while the team was playing the game because there's just
He told us
not
the
enough
story,
internet.
and I just laughed. It was crazy.
And that's why we don't go. I have gone in the past and tried to do a video stream, and even with the mobile hotspot tethered into our streaming computer, it's just not enough bandwidth to keep the picture a good quality. It's choppy, it'll lag, things like that. So that's why we don't go to Watertown. It's not because I don't like it there. I think Jeff is great.
Yeah, he's awesome.
He's really fun to talk to. I actually talked with him earlier this morning as well about their YouTube channel going down, and then the process of trying to get it back, and maybe they have different luck than what we do. But that's why we don't go to Watertown.
Mm-hmm.
So instead, we've had a business reach out to us, talk about the idea of a watch party for Friday's game for the fans who don't go to Watertown to see the game in person. So we're working on that.
Okay.
Funny enough, hopefully by the time that this comes out, we're already have done this pre-scouting meeting because we just want to make sure that all the capabilities are up to standard and we actually can make something happen.
Yeah.
But now that Watertown has their YouTube taken down, it also kind of relies on Watertown a little bit to make sure that they have a place where they can stream the game as well. So there's a lot of moving pieces now. for this watch party idea, but
You could go up there and just somehow do it on radio somehow. I don't know how, but that would be crazy.
it would be.
Oh my gosh.
It would be. It would also be very cold.
Yeah, it is cold up there. Like here, we're comfortable, just wearing a.
I'm not comfortable. It was snowing this morning, Bob.
Oh, okay, sorry about that.
Yeah.
All right. Lastly,
April
before
15th and it's snowing.
I know. Lastly, before we let you go, because I want to go down and talk to a couple of the people before they head into the locker room. This weekend, obviously, Friday's in Watertown, Saturday's in Binghamton, Monday, if Game 3 is needed, is here in Binghamton. Both of the Binghamton starts are 7 o'clock.
Yes.
And just normal, come and support your Black Bears, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Bring the support. Obviously, this is the real season now.
Yeah.
Last year it took us 7 games to get the cup. Hopefully we got it 7 more games. If necessary, could be some more. Hopefully not any less, because 7's the magic number that we need. It is good to see that the league's already come out and say that the finals, no matter who gets there,
is 5.
Is going to be a best of 5.
Oh,
that's on the team website, or that's on the league website.
I did not see that yet, but I'm glad to see that.
That's really incredible. I think that is the true test.
Awesome.
I wish we could do best of 5s
all the way
round, but
it's
just
okay.
not meant to be. But it's getting to be a very exciting time. Second year. Second year. Whoa. Third year. Gosh, where's the time gone? With the Black Bears' third year in the postseason. Just thankful to be a part of it, no matter where we're going to be streaming on. I know Josh and his team are going to make it look professional, no matter what platform. I know EJ's still going to get all of our stuff up on social.
Yeah.
Bobby, Kelsey, Alex, Trevor, all the interns doing a great job in the front office as well. We have more interns coming in for office hours this year than we ever had before. So they're learning a whole lot, taking a lot off of some other people in the office plate. Cole's doing a great job while balancing.
You pick on
finishing.
him way too much. You pick on Cole way too much.
Well,
I want to scold you on that one.
It's just tough love. You ought to hear how my guy did it to me when I was in baseball.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah. So it's a lot of people do tell me that I am hard on Cole.
You are.
Unfortunately, that's the exact way that I was brought into broadcasting. If I made a mistake on air, the guy was going to let everybody listening know that I made a mistake.
Fair enough.
And sure enough, one time he just unplugged my microphone.
Wait, they do that in other arenas to you guys. So fans do.
Yeah. So it's crazy, but no, he actually does a good job while trying to balance. He's graduating this year. He's also the only 4-year intern. So he was here at the very beginning. Cole was the first intern. Really. I mean, there might have been somebody before him, but I say he's the first intern because he's been here
since day one.
So, yeah, and it's pretty incredible that we're going to have an intern graduate from undergrad.
Yeah.
Right now he's evaluating his options on going to grad school to get his master's
or going into
the career. So he's got a bright future, and he's improved tremendously since the first time I've met him.
He's got to slow down just a little bit. Sometimes he gets a little hyped up, like me, but I'm a talk show host, so that's okay. But he gets, so he needs to slow down a little bit. Otherwise, I think he does a great job. You guys do a great job together.
I know, and everybody thinks that we hate each other. That's not the case.
No. I'm picking on you for picking on him.
Oh, I know. It's friendly banter. We laugh a lot in between commercials.
Yeah.
So funny enough, I'll tell one story real quick before I go. Last week, when John Moriarty got the door for the game, we had done a lot of prep, assuming that Moriarty was going to play. That's who we told Josh, hey, this is the person that we want for the video board,
right?
The graphics, everything like that. Well, gets kicked out of the game. Somebody else comes in while I'm trying to transition it, and I was like, well, Cole, tell me about Sharma stats.
Yeah.
And sure enough, he didn't have them.
Nope.
So he just looks at me like, why'd you do that? And I was like, come on, you got it. Figure it out. He's got his computer right in front of him.
Yeah.
So
look it up. You should have it up there.
Yep. Looked it right up. And then I would say he did a good job of filling time when being like, well, funny enough, the last time the Black Bears saw Sharma, he had over 50 saves, and he did a good job of filling the gap until he actually had the exact stats that he wanted to read off.
Yeah.
So, but that's something that he wouldn't have done 2 years ago.
No.
He would have just said, I don't have it.
And what's funny is that Sharma came in and did not have the good game as he had the first time we faced him, because unfortunately he gave up a lot of goals to the Black Bears. And they
I don't think anybody would have had a good game last week.
No, these guys were on fire.
Yeah,
Brooksy,
gallery.
I wanted to keep this under 50 minutes, and we're barely doing that. So 'cause that's what we did last April.
I know.
In the same position, except for it was like at 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock at night when we finally ended. And luckily today it is 10:59 in the morning, and practice is about to end. Thank you very much for coming on. It's always a pleasure. It's always great to talk to you and have you on here talking Black Bears hockey.
Absolutely. Thank you, Bob. I appreciate it. And, hopefully we'll talk again, maybe before the end of the season.
Yeah.
And hopefully celebrating another championship.
Absolutely. And we'll be right back. Actually, let's stop that for a second. He is Brooks Hill, the Binghamton Black Bears broadcaster. And we'll be right back right after this, right here on the Power Play Post Show.
If you're a Binghamton hockey fan, then you need to check out binghamtonhockey.net for all your news, stats, information, the Binghamton Hockey Hall of Fame, top 10 lists, profiles, and so much more. That's binghamtonhockey.net. You're listening to the Power Play Post Show.
And welcome back, everybody, to the Power Play Post Show. If you're still listening, I just want to reiterate a couple things, okay? The Black Bears will have a watch party on Friday at Craft Bar and Kitchen. I believe that's on Washington Street in Binghamton. Definitely go check it out. Get your seats. Get there early enough so you can get your appetizers and get some food. Maybe get a couple of liquid courage to, maybe say hello to Brooks and Cole. Not during the broadcast, please, guys. Just, let them do the broadcast. But before and after, they might say hello and shake a hand if you guys so be it. But it'll be at Craft Bar and Kitchen. That's on Washington Street in Binghamton. The Black Bears have a great relationship with them, and so definitely go check out the watch party. They will have a feed. They will announce it sometime on Thursday, so you guys can check that out as well. That's pretty much it for me. The Power Play Post Show, me and Taylor will have all of our coverage of these games as they happen, and our reactions afterwards, day after game reports. We'll have those on Saturday, Sunday, and Tuesday or Monday evening, depending on if that game is needed. And we'll also have the impact players. We'll have that out. And definitely check out Taylor's kind of look at the 24-25 season when it comes to when that comes out on Thursday around 2 o'clock. All right. So that's it for me. The Power Play Post Show is on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Pocket Cast, YouTube, Amazon Music, and iHeartRadio. Just search Power Play Post Show on whichever platform you listen to your podcast, and please subscribe. Please join the Power Play Post Show Facebook group. Just go to Facebook and search Power Play Post Show. Check out BinghamtonHockey.net for all your Binghamton hockey and information and curiosity. Thank you to Rob Lapolis, our MC, John Petitucci, our musical director, and from the Binghamton Black Bears broadcaster, Brooks Hill. And of course, thank you to Austin Thompson and Brant Sherwood for coming on the show or talking to me after practice. You heard that at the beginning of the podcast. Again, I am Bob Howard. Thank you very much for listening. We'll talk to you after the first round series against the Watertown Wolves right here on the Power Play Post Show.
Thanks for listening to this edition of the Power Play Post Show. Be sure to tune in next week to the Box Studios Radio Network for all the latest Black Bears news and interviews from around minor league hockey. The Power Play Post Show would like to thank John Patitucci for all the music you hear on the show. You've been listening to the Power Play Post Show.